Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. This is an article from someone named Tina Fey, and I've enjoyed some of her articles, so I want to share another one here for you today. It's called Stay Single Until You Find Someone Who Checks These 10 Boxes. So, they're very sensible things to put on your checklist. I think sometimes a guy puts so many things on there that they're looking for, or they only look for one or two things that aren't going to last, like sex and looks, and they ignore everything else. And I've seen some women that have many, many things on their list, but really it just comes down to a few basic things. It's not all that complicated, so I want to share that to you. This channel is about marriage to a Filipina, and the things I'm going to share here from Tina's article is for anybody that wants to get married, not just to somebody overseas. And please subscribe here. I got 1,550 videos, lots of playlists, a book you can get. There's an affiliate link to the place that I met my wife, which is Christian Filipina. So this is from Hackspirit, hackspirit.com. And she says, finding the right person to spend your life with is a big deal, really big. And that's true. It's not like buying a new pair of shoes you can just return if they don't fit right. It's more like choosing a home where you'll live a long time. Excellent analogy, and this article, like many of hers, are Love Beyond the Sea approved, and so I like to share those with you. The person you choose will be there for good times and bad, so you've got to make sure they're the right one for you. Now, I'll interject here. I always think that the right one kind of bothers me. I don't know that anybody is totally compatible for the other person, so you have to have some wiggle room for the reality that they're not you and you're not them, and you can't, control each other. So the right one for you is not the soulmate or the perfect one. You will never find that person. You will die single. So they say, think about it. You're choosing someone to celebrate holidays with, someone to help you when you're down, sometimes to cheer you on when things are going great. All good things about being married. So the qualities that she's looking for before you marry someone: number one, respect you. She says it's as simple as it sounds. It's a big one. Person waiting for you should respect you, your choices, your personality, your dreams, and even your flaws. See, you might say, well, they're all right except they've got these flaws. Well, that doesn't mean they're not the right person for you, even though they have these flaws, because they're thinking the same thing about you. I like that guy, but he's got these flaws. That's just the way it is. They should value your opinions and listen when you speak. They should never belittle or make you feel small. And I'm going to just skip over some things because I am limited by time. Number two, makes you laugh. You see this one on a lot of women's lists. I don't know that it would be high on a man's list. I never thought about it. I tend to be kind of serious, and I could probably use someone to make me laugh. And I do appreciate people with a sense of humor, because I tend to be very serious and sober. But this one was not a big thing for me. So that's up to you. This is something she makes. She says life can be tough. Having someone who can lighten the mood and make you laugh is priceless. So I think the humor comes in different ways. We're not all Jim Carrey, or John Candy. Those are some older guys that I'm familiar with. But between the two of you, you're probably going to find some way to display a sense of humor. It doesn't mean you have to be cracking jokes all the time. Number three, supports your dreams. This is a big one. I'm not sure how much you can get out of this before you're married. They can always say they support them and then not. So I always, this is one of those things. You may have to support theirs for a while, and then they'll support yours. It may have to go back and forth. But this is worth mentioning. They say it's critical to find someone who not only listens to your dreams, but actively supports them, encourages you, and believes in you. And I try to do that for my wife, and I've sacrificed greatly for her dreams with stuff we've built back home in the Philippines, and school and work. And That's fine. You know, I realize things are going to be tough. She's going to school right now, graduate in December, on top of working 11 hours a day. So, you know, she's a supervisor. She has lots of responsibility. But, you know, you got to be patient. Over time, that may turn around. Right now, I have to support her. 4, communicates openly. And that's, they say, it might sound obvious, but effective and open communication is actually a rarity, they say, in some relationships. A lack of communication can seriously harm a relationship. They say your future partner should be someone who can talk about their feelings honestly and openly, and I agree with that 100%. You shouldn't be wary of sharing yourself openly and intimately with the person that you're going to marry. 5, loves you for who you are. Very, very important. Your special someone, they say, should love you for who you are with all your quirks and imperfections. They shouldn't try to change you or mold you into their idea of a perfect person. And I think some men are susceptible to trying to do that with a woman from the Philippines. I can say my wife does not try to change me. I mean, we talk about our preferences and stuff like that, but I honestly feel like I can just be myself, and I want her to know that, you know, I'm just going to compliment her and praise her for, you know, what she brings to me and who she is, and try not to change her. Another one, number 6, shares your values. And they say this doesn't mean you have to agree on everything, of course. Simply means that your core values, the ones that shape your beliefs and guide your decisions, align in some way. Makes me think of politically. I think that's something you need to throw in there and talk about your political beliefs. They may not have any or think they do, but they may lean one way or the other, and that may not be a good mix for you, like water and oil. And so just think about that. Shares your beliefs. It's really goes without saying, but it's important because a lot of people will overlook that. Number 7 is not afraid to apologize. That's a good one. Number 7, you get plenty of practice in marriage, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. And apologizing means you admit that you acknowledge that you do screw up once in a while, and if you apologize, chances are, she's going to learn to see the things that she does that upset you and follow your lead and then begin to apologize. Number 8, share some common interests. I like how she says that. Don't have to be having everything in common, but having some shared hobbies or passions can really strengthen a relationship. You certainly don't want to have nothing in common. You say, well, Bob, you married your wife in less than 8 weeks from 10,000 miles away. What could you have in common? Well, we're both, Christians. We both like 70s music. That's what I grew up with, and they play a lot of that, believe it or not, today in the Philippines. So we are familiar with that, the same music. And, going to theatrical plays, I like that now. I never knew about it until I did it. We're going to see one here in a couple of weeks, Aladdin, and those are always fantastic. So she likes to travel, drive around, and I've just kind of decided, well, I've done most of the things I want to do in my life. Let me go do these things with her, and maybe we'll like it and do it again. And that's the way it's worked out for us. Number 9, so you can begin to do things with each other, to find in common. You don't have to say, well, we don't have these things in common. Well, then make them a commonality. You're free to do that. Number 9, makes you feel secure, and she's not talking about financial security, but acknowledges that's important. Emotional security. Absolutely, I agree. This is so Love Beyond the Sea approved. I want my wife to feel safe with me. We argue and tussle like anybody else, but she needs to know I'm on her side. I'm going to defend her. Maybe even if she's wrong about something, but I'm gonna stick up for her. That's my wife. Hurrying up here with number 10, is your best friend. Well, my wife is my best friend. I have or will have a video about that. So I'm going to run out of time here, but it's good to work towards that. They may not be your best friend. I didn't even know my wife before we got married, but we've been together over 8 years now.